Everything that I say in the next 2 minutes, there have been thousands of books written about it, and everybody's going to say, you should have said this, you should have said that. I'm going to give it 2 minutes because I just want to give you some sense of what we're talking about, and we don't have any more time than 2 minutes. So people have always lived in this land that we now call Israel. We can argue about was it ever called Palestine? Was it always called Israel? Did God give a covenant to the Jewish people of Israel? We're not going to argue about any of that. In 1948, many new people after World War II, many new immigrants started arriving in Israel, including many Jewish people. It didn't start in 1945, right after World War II, but it didn't start in 1948. But people have been going in and out, and Jews have always been in Israel. And Palestinians, or people who now are identified the ancestry of Yusef here, have always been in the region. Many different people have been in the region. The state of Israel gets created, and now we got to figure out what to do. Because just like I've been watching the Ken Burns documentary on the American Revolution, and it's so fascinating to see as all the Europeans came into the Americas, here, this land, there were people living in the Americas, and how the conversation gets turned about whose land this is and who owns it and who was here and who's the rightful owner of the land and who should be here. We don't have to get into any of those conversations. The point is there are Palestinians and Jews and many other people living in what is now the state of Israel. In 1967, there was a decision made that we would make borders. And the borders, we would put Gaza here, this would be a Palestinian land, territory, and the West Bank. And Israel would be an international space in 1967. So here we have, this is Israel, this is the land that is mostly, Yusef was saying, mentioned the West Bank in his family, that's where his father's from, this area right here. The war in Gaza, the most recent war, is happening right here. There are Palestinians in Israel proper. 25% of Israel, this part right in here, this lighter part, are Palestinians. So they're Palestinian Israelis or Arab Israelis. And there are Jewish people in the West Bank. And they're generally called the settlers. They're in settlements, or they've moved into the West Bank. And some never left the West Bank. They've been in the West Bank for many, many generations, okay? So this is the conversation that we're going to have. There aren't just two sides. There are many sides. Yusef doesn't have just one opinion. He's got dozens of opinions. Jessica doesn't have just one opinion. She's got dozens of opinions. There are many, many, many different ways to talk about this. The things that we're going to pick out to talk about are just things that I just picked. But we could talk about so many different things. So therefore, do not say you should have talked about this or you should have talked about that. Look, we only have a small amount of time. We can't cover everything. A facilitator is nobody's friend.
And everybody's friend.
And everybody's friend. Because no matter what's going to happen is Lori and I are going to take a strong position next to Yusef. And then we're going to turn it, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make the argument, his arguments, the arguments that he will want to make for what would support his people and his relatives. I'm going to do everything in my power, every ounce of intellect I can bring to it to support him and to make his argument as strong as possible. And then I'm going to turn, and I'm going to stand next to Jessica, sit next to Jessica, and I'm going to make an argument that is equally as persuasive, the best possible argument that I can make to get Yusef to say, oh, man, that's a really good argument. Like, to get you to say, to get anyone to say, to get Jessica to say, wow, you really did a good job supporting the things that I think are really important. And Lori is going to be doing her job in the middle of holding the sides and asking questions. And we're not taking a side. And so we're nobody's friend, and we're everybody's friend. We're the friend to both of them. And we're the enemy to both of them, because that's how it works. This is actually a photo on the anniversary of the October 7th. Killings, massacre really, but killings. 1,200 people died in Israel. They weren't all Jewish, by the way, but the vast majority were, and they were killed by fighters from Hamas. And Hamas is so if you don't know, Hamas is a political wing, a militant organization that's based in Gaza, but also in to some degree in the West Bank, but in Gaza, right? I was in Paris when this happened, and I just arrived in Paris, and I heard about this massacre and how many people they thought had died. I had some time, and I went down to the Eiffel Tower, and they were having protests. And I said, oh my God, it's going to be like protests, in support. This is terrible. 1,200 people, and they took hostages, and it's all over the news and everything. And I start seeing signs against Israel. And I thought, my God, wait, hang on a second. It's Israelis, Jewish people that got killed. But what I'm seeing are all these signs and all these declarations that, it's now or never. We need to to finish this off, and we need to, by whatever means necessary, we need to support of Palestinians, Palestinian rights. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's Palestinians that just did this horrible killing. And so I think wow, what if that happened? What if Mexicans came over to the United States and killed 1,200 people in Texas or Arizona or wherever, Canadians in Michigan. And then, so I see, these are all human beings. These are children and grandparents. And okay, so then I go to the next slide, and I start seeing all these protests over the past couple of years. I'm like, wait, by any means necessary. Whoa. This is in New York. Wait, hang on a second. By any means necessary. We got to support Palestinian rights. We need to find a way to get land back to Palestinians. Wait, does that mean massacre more Israeli? Wait, do you know what you're saying with that sign? I'm looking at people, and I'm looking at all these people who I'm not even sure they have any idea at all about what this conflict is. And so I'm starting to freak out. I'm like, all these pro-Palestinian protests with these protesters who are basically saying, hey, we support Hamas. Now, I don't see a sign right there that says we support Hamas, but essentially that's what's being said. And then I think, my God, man, this is the long history of anti-Semitism, right? This is a Charlottesville protest. You have the Confederate flag, but you always have a Nazi flag. And I'm like, hey, wait, hang on a second. Do you understand what Nazism is? People just pull a Nazi flag out? Do you know what that is? That was the attempt to eliminate every Jewish person from Earth. Basically, turn them into tiny specks of dust and get rid of them all. And then I think about people all these current anti-Jewish people that are coming out of the woodwork now, like this Fuentes guy, and I'm like, man, Jews are behind it all. If I'm Jewish, I'm really scared because I'm like, we just had the most extensive genocide. To attempt, millions of people, and now you got people using. Wait,
are you talking about the Holocaust?
Yeah, the Holocaust, and oh man, and how is it that people are even having these ideas, and they're having lunch with the president? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh God, I'm scared. That's all. I'm scared. Okay, how can I not be scared? And so I'm just gonna tighten it up and go. We had an agreement that we're gonna split this up, and Palestinians are you're gonna get Gaza, you're gonna get the West Bank, and then we're gonna work it out, and they're gonna have a state. It's gonna be the state of Palestine, just like we have the state of Israel. So okay, that works. That's cool. That's great. It's important because his people need also a state. Wait, hang on a second. So here's the West Bank. Right? Palestinians actually, of all that land, they control about 18%. And the Palestinian Authority itself. And then, 22% is administered by the Palestinian Authority and the Israeli government. And 60% is the area, the yellow area, controlled by Israel. And I'm like, wait, hang on a second. Who's in control here? Who's in charge? How is this going to lead, like what happened here? How is this going to lead us to a place when we have some semblance of the ability to get along? Like like how is that possible? Like how is this going to make it? And then we have the settlements, because all throughout these areas are just more and more Jewish people, radical Jewish people, I should add, moving into these settlements. And you may disagree with what they do, right? You may disagree with their ideas. You may disagree with the idea that they should be allowed to move in there. But Palestinians disagree with a lot of things. Very few Palestinians support Hamas. You know what I mean? Really, when it comes down to it, it's like they don't support that, but yet we claim that they all do. And so I think, my God, this is filled with Jewish people that just come and take the land. So here's a settlement, right? Here's land that was dedicated to Palestine, to Palestinians, like his people, his relatives, Yusuf's relatives. But the Israeli government just makes it so that these Jewish settlers go in and they work the laws out and they make it happen, and here they go. Like that, this is really deeply disturbing, man. Really disturbing, because how is this going to contribute to peace in some kind of way? And who's standing up to these settlers? Like, what's happening? And then here's the thing that I just want to tell you. I read a lot of stories about the experience of Palestinians. Man, the stories are heartbreaking. And I read them, and they're good stories, and there are people like this woman here who goes and she collects the stories of these Palestinians to say, like, tell me what happened to you, and how are you, and what's going on. And the stories are heart-wrenching. And some, I'm like inclined to say, like, okay, maybe that's stretching the truth a little bit, but I read enough, and I'm aware enough to know that, like, yeah, there's just some really just sad things that are going on for Palestinian people. This woman, like, who's got the power here, man? Who's got the power? Like, this is like, now you could say, like, yeah, well, she might have a bomb in her bag, or she might have this, but who has the power? And after a while, when the power is unequal in this kind of way, it's heart-wrenching, and it's problematic, and it's going to call for a response. People are going to respond. Here's a guy who just had his olive trees taken down by the Israeli government because they decided that he planted them on land. Even though he planted them 40 years ago, they decided, well, it was planted on land illegally. And so they control the power. Israel controls power. And so it's like, you can't do that. Like, come on, man. You're not playing along here. You're making it impossible. Here's just a house being taken down, the same thing. It's just who's got the power. These are just these settlers who, Palestinian authority, Palestinian police, they can't arrest these guys. These guys can commit crimes against Palestinians, and the Palestinian authorities, they don't have the ability to arrest them. They can call the Israelis and say, like, hey, they committed a crime against us. But it's like, that's not fair. It's not even not fair. It's just entirely just deeply troubling. If I'm sitting here next to you and I just heard what I just said, in my mind, I'm going to be having all these responses to it, right? And the truth is, and I can have a response to each thing or whatever, but the totality of it is like, God, man. Yeah, okay. Just to hear that. And if I'm sitting here listening to what I said about, if I'm Jewish, I'm afraid, man. And I think about some of these things. I think about some of what I just identified here. And I'm like, hey, man, if I'm Jewish, I'm going to do a lot of things. I'm going to do a lot of things that I wouldn't normally do, but I'm going to do them because I'm afraid. And I'm really afraid. And so there are a lot of things that if I'm here listening to that argument, it's going to be hard for me because I'm going to say, like, what are you afraid of? Or what are you this? But
Okay.
I'm
going to pause you. So what you just laid out, one dimension of many dimensions of some of the things that are between people who are Jewish and Palestinian, or Israeli and Palestinian. Okay, so I think we can all feel the intensity of that. I mean, I can feel it in you both.